Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here making music with the Barbara Fisherman and Piano Dave. And we are in the last Shabbat of 2020. I think that happened pretty quickly and pretty slowly, all at the same time. But it correlates very well with this week's Torah portion, which is Vayigash, which meant he drew closer. Rabbi Yael Levi, because of this idea of Vayigash, drawing close, Rabbi Yael Levi says this is the Shabbat of approaching. And I love this idea of thinking about how we approach everything around us as we go into the secular new year. Because we know that with a brand new year of 2021, there's a blank slate, there's potential to start over, to think about where we want to be. But we also know that a lot of things aren't really going to change. We're still going to be in a pandemic. We're still going to have many of the same issues and problems and ideas that we need to figure out as the clock strikes midnight next week on the 31st. And so I want us to use this last Shabbat of 2020 to think about our approach. How do we approach our loved ones? How do we approach our communities? How do we approach the world? How do we want to stay the same in the next year with our approaches? And what might we want to change? So let's use the Shabbat to do that work of reflection so that we're all ready at midnight next Thursday and we can ring in 2021 with good intentions and renewed energy.
Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple. I'm so glad you found us this week. Every week we seem to have new guests joining us for Shabbat, and I hope there are many new guests here this evening. We welcome you. My name is David Levine, and I'm the current president of Anshe Emeth. My pronouns are he and him, and for those who have family members or partners who are Christian, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. I hope your holiday is filled with good cheer and love this evening. While we celebrate tonight's Shabbat, I also want to think about those in Nashville who are hit with this horrific bombing this morning, and we keep them in our prayers as they work through this process. Tonight we are joined by Ronnie Mera. She will be lighting the Shabbat candles. Shabbat Shalom, and again, Merry Christmas.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need and all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Shabbat shalom to everyone.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue on page 20 for the singing of the Chadodi. Lai 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 Shabbat ונבנתה עיר עתילה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. והיו לי משיסה שוסייך ורחקו כמבייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כי מזוז חטאת הפלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. ימינו שמאלתי יפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יד איש ופרצי ונשרר להגילה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. אוי ושלום עטרת בלגן בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
We continue on page 26 with Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויקדוש מרבה, ועמד יברכותי וימליך מהותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב במהרו. אמן. יהי שמרם מבורך לעולם יומי יומיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן לילה במהרו. Amen.
We rise in body or spirit for Baruch. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, ובתבונה משנה עתים ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לפניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני
standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Mi kamocha balim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lo osefele, norati lo osefele, yabai bai bimimam, yabai bai bimbam, yabai bai bimimam, yabai bai bimbam, ay 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 ay, yabai bai bimbam, ay 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 ay, yabai bai bimbam, ma'alechotecha rovanecha, pokiyayam, livnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imach le'olam va'ed, yabai bai bimimam, yabai bai bimbam, yabai bai bimimam, yabai bai bimbam, ay 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 ay, yabai bai bimbam, ay 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 ay, yabai bai bimbam.
Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
V'shomeru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, v'shomeru la'asot et HaShabbat Zocher chasei avoltimot, Amerigula lifnevirem, Dem Anshe be'ava, Melech Ozer, U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ataram le'choshia, Vashiv haruach u'morgid hagashem, Mechakel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech nofli ve'ofei holim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishinei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidol melach, Melech memid umechaye, Umatzmiya Yeshua, Ne'eman atah lachiyot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom v'chalalu ha'selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We continue with a moment of our own personal prayer and reflection. I used to hate Christmas songs. As a young girl, keenly aware of my Jewish identity, I always begged my parents to change the radio station when these melodies came on during wintertime. A friend and I substituted the word Ismas for Christmas when we sang festive holiday numbers during elementary school chorus concerts. I never wanted to listen to the music because I did not feel part of that tradition. This sentiment continued through my teenage years into my young adulthood. When I went to Israel for my first year of rabbinical school, I was excited to live in a country where I wouldn't be inundated with lyrics about green trees and a big man in a red suit for 6 weeks. And it's true, I did love walking around the streets decorated in blue and white lights, menorahs in every window, and sufganiyot in all the bakeries during the winter months. But for the first time, I missed the music. I wanted to hear Holly Jolly Christmas and Sleigh Ride on the radio. I wanted to exchange holiday greetings with friends and strangers as the weather grew colder and darkness encroached in our daytime hours. It was then that I realized that as a Jewish American, though the holiday of Christmas itself was not my holiday, that the holiday season could still be mine. I could enjoy the songs and the warm fuzzies that accompanied them, even as I acknowledged that this is more of a cultural experience than one that stems from the religion that I practice. I realized that there is nothing wrong with spreading a little bit of cheer at this time of year, by wishing joy to the world and saying happy holidays to everyone I encounter. As Jews in the diaspora, it is our legacy to navigate these boundaries. We are Jews, and we are citizens of the other countries in which we live. When I was younger, I felt that constantly listening to Christmas music would somehow change my Jewish identity. But a more nuanced perspective shows me that this is not the case. We won't be singing Christmas songs from the Bima on Shabbat, but we can acknowledge this major celebration in our country and in our own families for some of us, and share in the positive outlook and happy spirit it provides. Throughout our entire history, Jews have been learning about how to interact with the majority cultures in which we've lived. This week's Torah portion, Vayigash, contains a very prominent example of this interaction as Joseph brings his family from Canaan into the land of Egypt. Joseph gives his people land in a region called Goshen on the outskirts of Egypt. Our sages comment that this is because Goshen is the best place for shepherds, with fertile pastures and abundant places for the flocks to graze, which could not happen in the city. The commentator Nachmanides remarks that there was an additional reason for the Israelites to shelter there. He states that Joseph's father, Jacob, preferred to live outside of the main city center, away from the mainstream culture of the Egyptians, because he wanted to preserve his family's identity. It is understandable that as strangers coming into an unfamiliar place, Joseph's family would want to have their own area to live their lives in peace and remain a tight-knit community. However, the separation had significant and long-lasting consequences. It was the first step towards that Pharaoh a few generations later who knew not Joseph and feared this unknown people so much that he enslaved them. By not integrating into Egyptian culture, the Israelites remained apart from the people in the country in which they lived. By staying in Goshen, they continued to be an unknown entity to the folks among whom they resided. While Joseph has a close relationship with Pharaoh and maintains power as long as he lives, his prominence does not continue in future generations because nobody knew who the Israelites were. Of course, I am not saying that it is the Israelites' fault for becoming slaves because they chose to dwell on the outskirts of the city. But maybe, if they had integrated just a little bit more with the culture of the Egyptians, invited them to their feasts or experienced their rituals, they never would have become so unknown as to inspire great fear in a leader further down the line. Maybe we can use this as inspiration to learn that it is okay to be open of the traditions of the people amongst whom we dwell. We don't have to worship their versions of God or own their rituals, but we do all have a lot to learn from one another. Sometimes preserving our own community identity means experiencing other people's ways of life, so we can learn about what is around us and reinforce our own beliefs. Many of us even have dear friends and family members who celebrate different holidays than we do, and enjoy being present for one another as they do so. Sharing our cultures is a way to create joy and peace, both prominent values for multiple religions during this time of year. In fact, there have been many important Jewish figures who have acknowledged and even celebrated Christmas during our history. According to my Jewish learning, the Austrian Zionist Theodor Herzl himself had a Christmas tree in his home. The great scholar of Jewish mysticism, Gershom Scholem, grew up in a family that marked Christmas with a tree and a festive meal. In the late 1800s, as more and more European Jews arrived in America, they began to contribute to the secularization of the Christmas holiday. Hanukkah became much more prominent as the practice of December gift-giving increased, and Jewish people borrowed many Christian symbols and decorations for their homes in order to fit in with their new homeland. By the mid-1900s, Jewish people realized that they did not have to emulate a holiday that was not their own in order to fit in. They held special events on Christmas for their communities and focused more and more on Hanukkah, which of course has added much more significance to a relatively minor holiday. In the 1950s and 60s, sociologist Marshall Sklar researched this gain in importance and impact that it had on second and third generation Jews. He wrote, "Instead of alienating the Jews from general culture, Hanukkah helps to situate them as a participant in that culture. Hanukkah, in short, becomes for some the Jewish Christmas." As we contemporary Reformed Jewish Americans navigate this balance for ourselves, especially as many of those we hold dear do celebrate Christmas, I invite us to continue to learn about the various holiday winter traditions and continue to get to know and celebrate our non-Jewish family, friends, and neighbors. While it's not our holiday, we can still allow this time of year to inspire us with its themes of kindness, joy, and giving. By being involved in the Christmas season can actually help us reaffirm our identities as Jewish people. Many Jewish essential staff people sign up for shifts on the holidays so their counterparts can celebrate with their families. Our own team B'tei Avon has spent many hours cooking in our kitchen this week so that people who would not otherwise have gotten to enjoy a Christmas feast had an abundant and delicious meal today. Our CDC and diaper bank made sure that our neighbors in the area had gifts to give their children today so that they could have a festive celebration. All of these actions both help us to be part of the wider community in which we live and also allow us to live out the best of our Jewish values while strengthening our community. And of course, perhaps the biggest collaboration of peoples is that lots of Christmas music was written by Jewish people, including "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year," "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree," "Santa Baby," and "White Christmas." So if you decide to enjoy listening to any of these classics, know that they are a great example of the intersection between us all. Whatever holidays you and your loved ones celebrate, may it be a season that brings us and all the world warmth, happiness, and perhaps the greatest gift of all, peace.
Thank you for ending on that note, because obviously the world needs a lot of peace right now. So we're gonna sing Shalom Rav this evening. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom
Shabbat Shalom once again to all of those watching and listening from near and far. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much to Barbara Fisherman and Piano Dave, as always, for stepping up and sharing your beautiful music with us. Barbara, we're always glad to have you with us, so thank you for your time. It's a little bit quiet here at the temple for the next couple weeks, but there is a ton of stuff going on in January, so make sure to check your Monday email for all of the upcoming programs and events. As always, the link and Zoom information are in those emails, and if you're not yet subscribed to our emails, please feel free to go to aemtnews.com, aemtnews.com, and sign up to find out everything that will be going on here in the coming new year. At the conclusion of our service, of course, join us at our Zoom Oneg. On this Shabbat Eve, as we celebrate the joys of creation and the sweetness and peace in our communities, we are also, of course, very aware that there is still a pandemic going on, and there are still many people putting their lives on the line day after day to protect us and keep us safe. So we continue with Misha Berach, to hold in our hearts and our minds all of those who are ill, whether it's illness of the body, mind, or spirit, and we join our hearts together with these ancient words.
Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, vLeah, Oyirareh, veYirapeh et Chacholim.
We continue with Aleinu on page 282. Please rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekru lo yotzer breshit, shelo asad b'nei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot echadama, shelo samachakenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamolam, va'anachnu korim u'mishacharim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
V'lema v'Adonai l'melech hakol haaretz b'yom ha'od, 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 b'yom ha'od,
The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. This evening, we remember those who have died in the past month. Fred Lubsher, husband of Shirley, father of Jeremy, Howard, grandfather of Stephen, Evan, Allie, Remy, and Sam. We remember Betty Faye Fink, wife of Ed of blessed memory, mother of Saul, mother-in-law of Tracy, mother of Jonathan, sister to Sylvan, grandmother to Brandon, Adam, Jacob, and Sarah. We remember Bart Bernstein, the brother of Rona Solberg, and uncle of Sarah and Stuart Levine. We remember Ted Reinhard, brother of Simi Crew. We remember George Terabush Sr., father of Todd, Sandra, and George Jr., grandfather of Michael, Scott, Thomas, and Aaron. We also remember Ken Kim, who passed away this week, whose funeral will be on Sunday. To those names we add those in our hearts, those who we remember around the holidays and the new year, and all of those who this temple community remembers, whose names are inscribed throughout our walls and on our service sheet. We join together in Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, to sanctify their memories, as together we say, Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach iruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon uvyomechon, u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei olmaya, Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh, ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata, tushbechata ve'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma ve'imru Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen.
We're going to go to page 321 in your Mishkan Tefillah for Adon Olam.
Adon olam asher malach, b'terem kol yetzir nivra, le'enasa v'chafsa bo, azai melech shemo nikra, azai melech shemo nikra, le'acharei kilot ha'kol,
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you again. And we'll join together with Barbara in Kiddush. Raise your cups at home along with Barbara
1 second.
as she finds her spot.
ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava u'ratzon, hinichil lanu zikaron למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תפילה למתרי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת בכל העמים, ושבת Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen.
L'chaim, everyone. And please join with me in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.